Hi, Tyson Mutrix here, Mutrix firm and your lawyers. And today I want to talk about what to expect if you're going to have your deposition taken via Zoom. All right. In the age of COVID, things have changed quite a bit, and more depositions are being taken via Zoom as opposed to in person. Usually, the deposition is being taken in a conference room at one of the attorney's offices, and everyone's in that room. Things have changed quite a bit, and now things are being done via Zoom. So here's what to expect. Typically, you will get the Zoom link, and if you don't know how to use Zoom yet, we do have another video on our YouTube channel to talk about how to use Zoom, or you can just Google it, but you will get the Zoom link, and Zoom is the preferred platform. I'm saying Zoom, I'm not using that as a general term. Every single one of our depositions that we've done has been done via Zoom. Now, some of the courts are using WebEx for court appearances. It's a different platform, but every single deposition we've done has been via Zoom. All right, so you'll usually get the Zoom link a couple days before your actual deposition. So you're gonna wanna make sure that you download Zoom to whatever device you're gonna use. We highly recommend that you use a laptop or a desktop computer, something that's not gonna be moving around, something that's not gonna be getting a lot of alerts on it and vibrating like your phone whenever a message pops up, because it can be extremely distracting. It can also be something where you accidentally hit the message where you go to swipe it away, it brings up your text message, you no longer see the Zoom anymore, and so it can cause a lot of problems if you use your cell phone. Another major problem is that it doesn't stand up unless you've got some sort of tripod holding it or some other mount to hold it. We've had a client that had to use their cell phone because their computer wasn't working and their iPad wasn't working, so they had to use their cell phone as the backup to the backup. And there were vibrations during it. It fell down a couple times. He had to walk around sometimes and he was holding it. So it's better if you have some sort of device that's going to hold up on its own. It's not going to distract you with a bunch of messages. Another thing that you're going to want to consider is the environment that you're in. All right, you don't want to have to be walking around your house while you're doing the Zoom. All right, you're going to want to make sure you're somewhere where you can stay there and not have to run around. All right, because that actually happened in another one of our depositions where a client, she had a kid that she was at home with her kid. She didn't have anyone else to watch her child, and so she was having to sort of move from room to room, which was pretty distracting. All right, so if you can get childcare, make sure you get it. We understand. And in this day and age, it can be difficult. So that's just something that we all have to deal with. So we get it, and it's kind of normal these days. So don't be too worried if you don't have childcare. That's completely normal. All right, so you get the Zoom link a couple days in advance. You're gonna wanna make sure you've downloaded Zoom to your device. Have a backup, all right? So I talked about having the backup to the backup with the other client. Make sure you do have a backup because things do happen. Problems happen. Almost every single deposition I've been in that's been via Zoom, there's been some sort of a technical delay, calls have been dropped, a variety of things happen. So just make sure you have a backup, and also have you make sure that you have a way that you can communicate with your lawyer. That way, if something does happen, you can call in, or we can reach you, or your lawyer can reach you to make sure that we can reconnect and get back on the Zoom. After you get the Zoom link, you're going to want to get on to Zoom the day of your deposition about 10 minutes before. We recommend that when you get on, turn your screen off, turn your mute button on, so turn your mic off. That way, if your lawyer's not on the Zoom call yet, you can wait until they're on, and then you can unmute yourself, because you don't want to be chatting with a court reporter. You don't want to be chatting with the other lawyer. You don't want to be doing that without your attorney being present. So you're gonna want to wait. All right, so wait, turn your mic off. So put the mute button on and turn your video off. And then also, that way you can still chat with someone else if they're there until the deposition starts. That way you can do whatever else you need to do until the time for your deposition. When your deposition actually starts, you're not going to want to have any paperwork there with you, and you're not going to want to have anyone else in the room. A lot of our preparatory questions that we ask at the beginning of the deposition, we ask, who else is in the room with you? What other paperwork do you have? What else is on your screen? Because you're not going to want to have other things on the screen. If you do, that's potentially discoverable. Another thing is no one else is allowed in the room, okay? So you can't have them in the room. They're gonna have to leave. And if you don't have a room in your house to do that in, you're gonna have to make arrangements with your lawyer to go to their conference room or some other location. We had someone recently where they were actually in a hotel. They had to go to a hotel to do their deposition. We were actually taking the deposition and the lawyer, and they ended up securing a space at the hotel for the deposition. All right, so you've gotten your deposition, you got there early, you turn your mute button on, you turn your mic on, and then at the beginning of this, it's gonna start like a normal deposition. The court reporter will be on there, and their video is gonna be on, their mic's gonna be on, and they're gonna swear you in just like a normal deposition. They're gonna have you raise your right hand, they're gonna have you swear the oath, and then they're gonna start the deposition. The attorneys will start asking the questions, and then it will proceed like a normal deposition. But just know that there will be hiccups along the way. It's gonna happen. And like I said, on almost every single deposition we've done, there's been some sort of technical hiccup. And you might be asking, well, what about exhibits? How does all that work? Well, exhibits are far easier on a Zoom call than they are in person. When it's in person, you either hand over an iPad, which that's rare. Usually it's the attorneys have printed out the actual exhibits and they hand those over. You can also use an iPad, things like that. However, in a Zoom call, you just throw them up on the screen and you talk about them. One thing that you're not able to do, which you're able to do in person, is you're not able to have the deponent mark on the exhibit, and that's something that can be pretty handy when you're in person. We haven't quite perfected how we can get the person to do it in a Zoom deposition, but we're trying to figure out, we're working out the details. So you might be in a deposition where you're able to do that. I highly doubt it though. What will most likely happen is if they want you to mark something on the exhibit, instead they'll have you use your words, talk them through it, and they will mark on the exhibit and make sure that it's accurate based on what you tell them. That's the workaround now, but maybe the technology will advance in the next few months to years where we'll actually have you be able to actually mark on the screen. So, and then at the end of that, both sides will go, they'll have a chance to ask their questions and they'll wrap it up. And then the last person to be on that Zoom call will be the court reporter. They have to make sure that everyone's gone, so everyone will exit out of it. And then, because the court reporters are the ones that control the Zoom call. And so at the very end, they will close it out, wrap it up. And the attorneys will send any exhibits into their court reporter so they can attach them to the deposition. And everything else from that point proceeds as normal. So hopefully that helped address any of your questions, any of your concerns about Zoom depositions if you are going to be deposed in the near future. If you have any other questions, give us a call, 888-550-4026. You can also check us out at tysonmutrix.com. Make sure you also subscribe to our YouTube channel. We have a lot of explainer videos on our YouTube channel, so hopefully this is helpful for you. And then also like us on Facebook, because on Facebook we have posts daily. Sometimes it's fun stuff, sometimes it's serious stuff, sometimes we're doing giveaways, but I think it is pretty helpful for people. So check us out there. All right, make it a great day out there. We'll see you.